Shimmy says, ask me almost anything.
Hey everyone, it's Shimmy, and welcome to another Shimmy Says. You know, this is a kind of different Shimmy Says because I'm not in the studio back at our offices. I'm actually on scene here at CubeCon in Atlanta, where this is the third or fourth day we've been here. I hope you've caught some of our coverage. But I wanted to come at you today on the Shimmy Says. Really has nothing to do necessarily with CubeCon, but it does have to do with community. You know, there's something to be said for the kumbaya, if you will, that open source brings, where people feel like they're bonding together across companies, across competitors, across disciplines to do something good, to make tech better for all of us. And that used to be a major message in tech, right? It used to be tech used to fight the good fight, right? It wasn't that long ago, and it wasn't, myth or legend. But, being in tech meant something. It meant you didn't kowtow to the government. You didn't just become another pig feeding at the trough of profits and money and power. And somewhere along the line, I guess we seem to have lost that. I read an op-ed in the New York Times today by a fellow named Aaron Zamos. Aaron, at one time, was at YouTube, and he's worked at other tech places before. And what he had to say really kind of hit me like a bucket of ice water, right? And as much as I tried not to think he was right, as much as I tried to find the alternative to what he was saying, I came to the conclusion he's right. Somewhere along here, we lost the plot, we lost the track of what tech is about. And I mean big tech as well as small tech, right? When you look at the companies that kind of rule the tech world today, Apple and Meta and Google and OpenAI and NVIDIA, you know who I'm talking about. The 8 or 9 companies that, trade trillions of dollars between themselves. Are they doing it for humanity? Are they looking to uplift all of us? Do they care about the downtrodden, the overlooked? No, they care about themselves. And in caring about themselves, they've sold their souls to a corrupt political machine. I don't know any other way of saying it. That's what Aaron said, and after reading it and thinking on it, I got to agree with them. But the truth of the matter is, tech has been turned from an instrument of good, from an instrument of progress, to a weapon for nationalistic goals. And it's not just necessarily about this administration or about the U.S. We're seeing this worldwide. China obviously has been doing it a long time. The EU it feels like they need to handle their own sovereignty. They can't count on other countries respecting their privacy and sovereignty. So I think we're at a pivotal moment here in the tech industry. Do we want to, turn in our Avenger capes or what have you and get become card-carrying members of the party and with all that entails? But to me, that's not the tech that we want to be, right? I want to be the tech industry where the 2 guys in a garage can still change the world. And I don't think we can, and we're not at that place anymore, right? The only place you see that kind of camaraderie, the only place you see that kind of feeling is at these KubeCon, these Linux foundations, and they're not the only one, but the other foundations around the open source movement. Otherwise, it just seems like we're trading billions and trillions of dollars among a small group of people for their own enrichment, and we're just pawns in that game until they decide they don't need us anymore and we're replaced with AI, and then we won't be here. So You know, that's what's at stake here. So what I'm asking, and I'm sorry I'm moving this because I don't have a teleprompter like I do in my studio in the office, but what do we got to do to reclaim the good fight? Well, for starters, we got to stop paying ransoms to make problems disappear. It seems the tech industry's decided it's better to pay hush money. It's better to pay someone who threatens you or sues you because you did the right thing, but it wasn't the right thing for what they were thinking. So we write $25 million, $100 million checks to settle lawsuits that were meritless to begin with instead of fighting the good fight. We got to throw off being a vassal, a feudal vassal to the king, right? Tech was never meant to be dukes and earls. We were meant to be the rebels. We got the code. It's a different character. We've got to rediscover our reason for existence even. Our reason for existence is to push the human envelope and make it happen. So what do we have to do to make this happen? We've got to return to the garage, right? We've got to return to the garage and enable a system where little people, the little guys with big ideas can still make it happen in this world. You don't need $500 billion to start a company and find a place in the market. We've got to, you want to call it idealism, you want to call me idealistic, that's fine, but we got to rebuild that culture of idealism where we believe what we're doing, we do it because it's the right thing to do and it's good for everybody. That rising tide lifts all boats, whether you're a woman or a person of color or any other minority that hasn't partaken in the whole thing. So that's important. Second, last, we're at the cusp here of this, I don't know whether it's the fourth or fifth industrial revolution. AI, quantum, robotics, all of these things are right in our grasp, and there's so much promise there. But they could also be a weapon against humanity. So we've got to champion humanity in the age of AI. The more we use AI, the more we have to remember we're humans. And here's the last thing. We got to get out of this thing where tech leaders are robber barons. I kind of like the Iron Man tech leader from the Avengers where he thought he was fighting crime and doing the right thing. Then I like the tech leader who wants to rule the world in a manic kind of fit and uses politicians without moral compasses to help them achieve that. So we need real leaders again, not barons. Now, what does it mean though? I'll end it with this. We need the courage to stand for something in tech. We need the courage to do the right thing, even when it's expensive. And we need the courage to invent the future we all want again. That's who we used to be. It starts with us. It starts now. I'm here at KubeCon. I'll be back next week in the studio for Shimmy Says, but until then, it's Shimmy. We're out.
Shimmy says, shimmy says, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy says, ask me almost anything.